Well, I don't know how many Dallas Cowboy football fans out there here in the States listening to this, but what a wild ride last night watching that Cowboy Giants game. Fun to watch. Well, speaking of a ride, Canonical's Ubuntu has been enjoying a nice ride of popularity here the last 2, 3 years or so. Some of you like it, some of you hate it. I think a lot more of you like it than hate it. Once Ubuntu switched from the old GNOME 2 interface, like what you see here, going to Ubuntu Unity. So for this episode here, we are going to take a quick look at the latest Ubuntu 13.10 Saucy Salamander. Now, this will not be a full review. This is just a beta. If you are new, if you are a beginner to this, never ever install alphas or betas, unless, of course, you have a spare machine around and want to tinker with it. The reason why I say don't install them, they're not quite ready. They are going to be buggy, they may crash, and you're not going to like it. For this purpose here, I am testing this inside a virtual machine. Well, let's take a look and see what we have. I shot some video earlier of this here. Let me just go ahead and play the video. I thought we would take a quick look at the installation process here. Of course, you can try Ubuntu or install. I chose to install this just for the newbies to realize it's not that difficult. Once again, this is a beta, so don't install this on a production machine, on your normal machine. All right, normally you would download updates and software. Make sure you have at least 5.9 gigabytes of drive space and connect it to the internet. I click continue. You have some options here. In my case, I chose to erase disk. Click install now. Okay, your time zone. English for me, of course. Who are you? Well, you can be anything you want to be. I just chose, computer, username, password. I think I just clicked, 1, 2, 3. I will not be keeping this, of course. And you can choose login automatically, require password. I just left it at default here. Now this is new. You can log in one account to log into everything on Ubuntu, such as your cloud account, Ubuntu One account. You would need an email, of course. I have an account, but I just chose to bypass this and click login later. Well, so far so good. The installation process on this machine here took I'm going to say 5 minutes. It may have been a few minutes longer, but it wasn't very long. We'll just call it less than 10 minutes. But this is a nice slideshow to keep you occupied while you are installing the latest Ubuntu. This is actually kind of cool. So I think what I'll do here, and everything went fine. There were no glitches with the installation whatsoever. So I think what I'll do here is I'll just pause the video, come back, and then we'll go from there. Alright, my Ubuntu 13.10 just rebooted here. We're going to log in. Now you have different ways of logging in using email address, remote login, stuff like that. So I just typed in my passcode 123. Now there are many enhancements once the final release here in about a month. That will include, of course, the updated kernel. Smart Scopes is basically a search tool in the dash, somewhat of a powerful tool. There was some mention of this about a year ago, maybe less. I think in the end you'll have 100 scopes, something like that. But most importantly here is the implementation of a new display manager, which will replace the X window manager system, if I'm saying it right, the Zorg, with what they call Mir. For me, it's been a hit and miss when it comes to display managers and video drivers, success and failure for me. But that's coming up in 13.10. I believe it only works if you have not installed the proprietary drivers, and I think Ubuntu will have the full implementation, the full feature, if you will, of Mir coming up in the next Ubuntu LTS release coming up in April. But of course you have the ubiquitous wallpapers here. Here I switched to this, well, I guess we can call this the Ubuntu sky, this purplish sky. A very nice wallpaper here. Nice selection here. as you can see. I'm just going through this from a functionality point of view. Besides the the smart scopes and the addition of mirror, not a lot of changes here. If you are a beginner, and wanted to install this next month when the final edition comes out, minus the bugs, no alphas and betas, as I said, you should be able to install this with no problem. This will be supported for 9 months. You may want to wait for the LTS release coming up here in April of 2014. This is the dash, in case you didn't know this. I actually tried searching for myself, and nothing came up. So as you can see, there are still bugs. Ha ha ha. Alright, moving along. If you type in Ubuntu, of course, it'll give you a nice selection of topics pertaining to Ubuntu, not just on your system, but searching the web also, hence the functionality of the smart scope. Now there's been some talk about privacy issue and all this stuff, being tied into the Amazon store. It's not a problem for me, but you can certainly change those settings if you choose to, and just shut that function off. It's entirely your decision. This is on by default, this search function here. Alright, well, you have the Unity bar there at the left, the shortcuts left and at the bottom. I don't know if these are called lenses anymore or just part of the scopes, the smart scopes, but anyway, you can gravitate to each one and highlight each one. You can see search music, search photos. Of course, I don't have any photos because I just installed this. There's nothing in it. I'm just running this as a test. Search social networking and messages, so on. And you can filter results. Again, if you are a beginner, I don't think you'll have any problems trying to figure this out. If this isn't for you, you can certainly try Linux Mint, possibly XFCE or Zorin as an alternative to Windows. Again, as I'm just scrolling through this here, you should be able to figure this out. Music, photos, plugins, sources, Amazon. I'm just going through here rather quickly. The one nice thing about this beta, it didn't crash, and it running in a virtual machine, it actually ran not super fast, but it ran rather smooth. I was trying to click these shortcuts, by the way, nothing was happening, but this is still a beta, but it didn't crash. So I'm impressed as far as betas go. This is almost over, by the way. Well, this is Ubuntu 13.10 Saucy Salamander. These are the system settings. I love that. Saucy Salamander. And that's it. So what do you guys think? Do you like Unity, or do you prefer the old GNOME 2 look? You don't care? I like using both. I'm a big fan of Unity. That's why I have it installed in my desktop here. I also use Linux Mint, Mate, and XFCE. If you are completely new to this, you may want to check out Zorin, because at least it looks like Windows, and if it looks something that'll make you comfortable, you might stick with it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. You've been looking at Ubuntu 13.10 Saucy Salamander. The final release should be coming out in about a month. No big changes, as I said, except for the implementation of Mir, the new display manager from Ubuntu, and hopefully that will usher in a new standard of display driver quality, I guess, is the only way that I can say it. Like I said, for me, video drivers have been a hit and miss. But other than that, it looks pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching and listening, and as always, I will catch all of you sometime in the future.